Hi, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Storytime with Nacogdoches Public Library. I am Miss Emily, and today we're going to start with a new book. It's new to our collection, at least. It's been out for a couple of years now. It is called The Pout Pout Fish Goes to School. It's written by Deborah Dyson, illustrated by Dan Hanna, and read with permission from Macmillan Publishers. A long time ago, when Mr. Fish was very small, he headed off to school for the first time of all. With a smooch from his parents and excited for the day, Mr. Fish rushed in. Then he lost his way. The big fish around him knew exactly where to go, finding lockers, finding classes in a fast, smart flow. Mr. Fish, left behind with his grin sinking thin, finally stopped at a doorway, and he shyly looked in. The class was doing writing, and most everybody knew it. So he tried to print his name, but he just couldn't do it. So he flub flub frowned, making blub blub bubbles. Then he plopped down his pencil, and he counted off his troubles. Trouble 1, I'm not smart. Trouble 2, I'll never get it. Trouble 3, I don't belong. So 4, I should forget it. He floated with a frown down the long corridor. Then he sneak-peeked a look through another room door. The class was drawing shapes, and most everybody knew it. So he tried to make a rhombus, but he just couldn't do it. So he flub flub frowned, making blub blub bubbles. Then he plopped down his pencil and he counted off his troubles. Trouble 1, I'm not smart. Trouble 2, I'll never get it. Trouble 3, I don't belong. So 4, I should forget it. He drifted down the hallway with a doubt face, until he spied another doorway. Maybe this was his place. The class was doing math, and most everybody knew it. So he tried long division, but he just couldn't do it. So he flub flub frowned, making blub blub bubbles. Then he plopped down his pencil, and he counted off his troubles. Trouble 1, I'm not smart. Trouble 2, I'll never get it. Trouble 3, I don't belong. So 4, forget it. He rushed toward the exit. That's enough, I say. School is way too tough, and I'm not going to stay. Then a soft, kind voice said, Don't you fret. You don't have to know things you haven't learned yet. Your classroom awaits. I'm your teacher, Miss Hewitt. I am here to help you learn, and I know that you can do it. You're a fish who is smart. With practice, you will get it. Young fish, you belong. Don't you ever forget it. The student and the teacher swam a splish, splash, swish to a door with a sign marked Brand New Fish. Miss Hewitt said, Good morning. I'm excited you're all here. Together we will have a spectacular year. Fact 1, you are smart. Fact 2, you can get it. Fact 3, you belong. So 4, don't forget it. The class got to work, and Miss Hewitt helped them through it. They listened, then they tried, and everyone could do it. Mr. Fish gave a grin. Goodbye, blub bubbles. No more doubt, worry. No more flub, flub troubles. He swam with his class, Miss Hewitt by his side, as the students and their teacher said with confidence and pride. Fact 1, we are smart. Fact 2, we can get it. Fact 3, we belong. And 4, we won't forget it. And there they are at their kinderguppy class reunion. I think that's a great story. The end.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O. With a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. With a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a dog, E-I-E-I-O. With a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-I-O. With a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some sheep, E-I-E-I-O. With a here and a there, here a, there a, everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
All right, guys, welcome back. For our second story today, we're going to read a silly but sweet one. I really like it. It's called The Lumberjack's Beard. It is written and illustrated by Duncan Beatty and read with permission from Candlewick Press. Big Jim Hickory was a lumberjack. He lived by the forest in a little log cabin. He had big, burly shoulders and a big, bristly beard. Every morning, he did limbering up exercises. It's very important to limber up if you're a lumberjack. After a hearty breakfast of pancakes and maple syrup, Jim slung his trusty axe over his burly shoulder and headed out into the forest. Chop, choppity, chop went Jim's axe. Timber! Echoing through the valley as he felled tree after tree after tree. After a long day of swinging, whacking, cleaving, and hacking, Jim headed back to his cabin. That evening, when he was just about to go to bed, he heard a peck, peckety peck at the door. Jim looked down to see a small and very angry bird. "I had just built a new nest in my tree," shrieked the bird, "and you chopped it down." Jim scratched his chin. Then he had an idea. "I suppose you could move into my beard," he said. "Very well then," said the bird, and in it flew. The next morning, Jim woke up earlier than usual due to the birds chirping at the crack of dawn. He did his limbering up exercises, got dressed, and ate his breakfast with a little help from the new tenant in his beard. Jim's next job was to strip all the branches and leaves from the tree trunks and burn them in a big bonfire. After a long day of chopping, snapping, burning, and crackling, Jim trudged back to his cabin for a well-earned rest. No sooner had he put his axe away than he heard a noise at the door. Scratch, scratchety, scratch. He looked down to see a very angry porcupine. I needed those leaves and pine needles to make a cozy shelter, but you burned them. Where am I going to live now? Snapped the porcupine. Jim thought and scratched his chin. Well, he said, I suppose you could move into my beard. He bent down, and the porcupine crawled in. The next morning, Jim woke even earlier and attempted to do his limbering up exercises. He looked in the mirror and scratched his chin. Yow! He got porcupine quills in his fingers. He tried to eat his breakfast, but lost his appetite when he noticed bird poop on his shirt. Jim's job that day was to float all the tree trunks down the river to the lumberyard. One by one, he rolled the logs into the fast-flowing water. After a hard day of lugging, splashing, rolling, and crashing, Jim staggered back to his cabin. Thump, thumpity, thump, went his door. He looked down to see a very angry beaver on his doorstep. I spent all day building my dam, and it got smashed to bits by those logs you threw in the river, it snarled. Without a word, Jim picked up the beaver and put it in his beard. Between the birds chirping, the porcupines prickling, and the beavers thumping, Jim didn't get much sleep that night. He was too tired to do his limbering up exercises in the morning, and the beaver's thumping tail knocked his pancakes all over the floor. That's it, cried Jim. I can't take it anymore. You all have to move out today. But where will we live? Cried the animals. As Jim scratched his chin, he had a brilliant idea. He went into his bathroom, took out a razor, and began to shave off his big, bristly beard. Then he took the hair and piled it up on his porch, and the bird, the porcupine, and the beaver all moved into their big, bristly new den. That night, Jim slept better than he had for some time. He woke up and did some particularly vigorous limbering up exercises and put on a fresh plaid shirt. Then he made an enormous tower of pancakes and maple syrup. Jim looked out the window at the bare ground where the forest used to be and scratched his now stubbly chin. Then he had another brilliant idea. Jim took his shovel and dug hole after hole after hole and planted tree after tree after tree. Jim's beard grew back over time. The trees took quite a bit longer. But it was worth the wait. The end. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for reading these stories with me. I hope to see you back next week, next Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m., same place. I hope to see you there. Bye, guys.